Hello, and welcome to this Bitwise webinar on accelerating data validation with the QualiDI ETL Testing Automation Tool. My name is Nathan Nichols, Communications Manager here at Bitwise. And joining me today is our very own Samarth Syare. As a business and quality analyst at Bitwise, Samarth plays a key role in helping clients deliver value with their QA initiatives. Samarth is a leading member of the Bitwise Design and Architecture Research Team, or DART, where he is responsible for driving innovations in test automation tools and technical solutions to business problems and requirements. Before I pass things over to Samarth, let me first provide a quick introduction to Bitwise. Bitwise, a data management consulting and services company, uses over 20 years of enterprise data management experience to help bridge gaps between traditional EDW and cutting-edge technologies, including big data and cloud. What truly sets Bitwise apart is our technology leadership in creating unique accelerators that reduce the time, complexity, and cost of large-scale data initiatives such as ETL conversion and cloud migration. If you have any questions during our session today, feel free to send those via the question feature or contact us at any time at sales@bitwiseglobal.com. And with that, I'd like to pass things over to Samarth. Samarth?
Thanks, Nathan, and welcome everyone to the world of QualiDI ETL Test Automation Tool. To begin with, let us see what are the industrial challenges that we face every day in our lives. In today's world, technology advances overnight. It is very critical for technological leaders to not only keep track of new technologies, but also to adapt these. Now, keeping our ecosystem up to date, finding skill sets, and adapting these advancements consumes a lot of resources. When talking about ETL, migration from one ETL tool to another, or maybe change in data store, can trigger a lot of rework in testing area. Even version upgrades trigger this rework. Now each code promotion to higher environment triggers regression cycle. Stare to compare, or in other words, manually running regression testing is costly and error prone. And errors here may directly affect revenues. Next big challenge is ETL that everyone faces today. Starting from all stakeholders like BAs, QAs, developers, the challenge is managing the requirements in a common place. Often all of them refer to different versions of mapping, end up with a lot of confusion and leading to the delays. Maintenance of test artifacts, execution history, and results is a tedious and time consuming task. Looking at the explosion of data, it is very important to verify that the code is capable of handling large volume. Using stare to compare technique in large volume of data is a huge effort and directly affects the timelines of projects. And if not done, the coverage is compromised. Hence, manual completion of data comparison is error prone and lengthy process. Each small change can trigger end-to-end regression. This can be a costly and time-consuming activity and may delay time to market. In all these things, we often tend to forget that in due course of time, heavy dependencies are being introduced on resources, which with growing experience become more expensive. This really does not lead to effective utilization as well. Let us move forward to understand how QualiDI ETL Test Automation Tool can help us with these challenges. To begin with, let us see general ETL process. In any ETL, source target mapping, in other words, requirement document, is used to develop ETL graph. Now, ETL graph will fetch data from source, apply transformation rules, and load the target. Next, QualiDI uses the same mapping document, connects to the source and target databases, generates the test cases using the requirements, execute these automated tests by firing queries to the source and target, automatically compares the data, and on the basis of which test results are published. It is as simple as that. Here, QualiDI is outside the ETL process, as in it does not need to be connected to your ETL tool. QualiDI can connect to multiple heterogeneous data sources as source and target. Moving forward, today the Agile methodology and its components have become second nature to so many organizations, so much so that thinking of a world without Agile is almost impossible. So let's go ahead and see QualiDI in Agile with dedicated focus on testing aspects. Traditional methodologies usually involve long delivery cycles, where the code is first developed and tested at a later stage, even if it means delay in the time to market. In contrast, Agile makes it possible by implementing smaller delivery cycles, and QualiDI can help in testing these smaller deliverables much effectively. This also opens a wide window to facilitate the opportunity to tweak and change requests. Testing is always kept separate and is treated as the last phase in traditional settings, whereas with agile testing, facilitated by QualiDI, a continuous feedback can be provided with a click of a button. As we all know, a successful tester facilitates these by perfectly articulating the requirements, testing continuously with automation testing, getting results, and giving timely feedback. Quality is of paramount importance. Failures can lead to heavy revenue losses and more. In traditional methodologies, testers are considered to be the sole person responsible for quality. In agile testing, quality is a shared responsibility among testers, developers, and other team members. Quality can be used by all of these members to store their requirements, statically review them, to generate test cases, and execute tests anytime. Incremental test planning means accepting changes as being nature and responding without being afraid of them. Let's say you write test cases, which is your plan, based on certain requirements. Now, if the requirement changes, using QualiDI, you can promptly adjust your test cases to validate changed requirements and at the same time keep a history track of all the changes in the requirements and test. On the other hand, you can also execute your regressions because other test cases are already in place. Agile testing values flexible people, multidimensional skills. At the same time, it is very important to have the arsenal of tools like QualiDI that enable to achieve goals in timely and cost-effective way. Going ahead, if you are in software industry, you have most likely heard about the popular term shift left testing. With agile practices and DevOps becoming mainstream, shift left is answer to how testing fits in. Here, instead of taking a backseat during the development process, testing is carried throughout development lifecycle. Thanks to QualiDI ETL test automation that aids tester to have more time to dedicate to being more strategic in their work, instead of having their hands tied running tests manually later in the stage. Since QualiDI can manage all ETL requirements, entire team can be more successful today when testers can engineer the testing process by collaborating with development and operations right from requirement and design stage. With QualiDI, testers can help developers implement automated unit tests, plan and create automated integration tests, and so on at every stage and component level. The well-known test pyramid says that the bugs are most costlier and slower to fix in later development phases. Hence, QualiDI encourages you to test as much as possible in earlier development stage. Being from testing background, it is my personal experience that this concept can help you better balance your test, speed up your test suites, and reduce the cost of changing or fixing the bugs drastically. With the increased level of automation when shift left, team can be benefited from are there are a number of things that a team can benefit from. Let me cover a few of them for you. Increased test coverage, since more tests can be run in the same amount of time. More time for testers to focus on more challenging and rewarding tasks. Reduced human error rates, which obviously automation can overcome. Monitoring performance over time. Code quality checks. Reducing issues in production that end users may encounter. Beyond these benefits, being able to start testing sooner invariably results in higher quality, as testers are less rushed to find all the errors at the end when there is little time to fix them. Let's see, apart from where these things can already cover most of the features, few more things that I would like to highlight as part of this webinar that QualiDI can do for you. QualiDI acts as one-stop shop for everyone in your team to refer requirements. All the changes are automatically recorded, and users can even select two different versions from history to compare the changes made over time. QualiDI does not depend on your choice of ETL tool. That means you can use QualiDI to test any ETL graph. This also helps in case of technology migration, version upgrades. No rework is required to enable your existing automated test suites. QualiDI can easily test complex transformations and ensure the quality and eliminate the human errors. The automated test suite in QualiDI are independent of data stores. Take a case you want to migrate from data store A to data store B. Being QualiDI be there, same test suites can be used again with no modification. QualiDI is a programming-less test automation tool that can make test engineering of big data a success and can cater to validation when migrating ETL processing to big data environment. Let's move forward and see and try to understand how or what is the architecture of QualiDI. As I have already said, the end user can be an ETL tester, developer, test lead, or even PAs for requirement management. QualiDI is a single page web application that avoid unnecessary page transitions, page loads. You can use all popular browsers to access QualiDI. This eliminates any need of client-side installation. The test generation engine is used to generate the test cases by reading your requirements or mappings. Execution engine of the test case is done with the help of master slave configuration, which is highly scalable and enables concurrent test case execution. Master manages the agents as well as provides user with the updates of the task, fallback, and failures are handled here. Whereas agents work in isolation to execute the test cases. The backend database is there to store all the user related information or your execution or maintain the artifacts that are there. We have a data virtualization layer. With the help of this, QualiDI can connect to heterogeneous set of data stores and execute test cases. This also enables it to keep tests independent of data stores. Having said that, as I was already saying, that the main feature or one of the important features that QualiDI has is It can connect to the data stores and keep your test cases independent of all those data stores. And all the communication happening between different channels is, of course, secured. We have a test reporting system where all the test reports are managed with the history and details what test cases were used to execute on what requirements and what were the results. We tend to upgrade the system as and when we go ahead. We have a roadmap that comes up by our prominent client request or with our market study. Recently, I want to give you highlights of what we have released in our last update. We have altogether a new intuitive GUI which makes it more user friendly and easy to learn. The test suites are now codeless, as in you do not need to know your SQL syntaxes to write your source and target queries, as you can derive them from your mapping. We have introduced a separate administration module for managing all your administrative activities like managing the project, adding the users, managing the roles and permissions. Recently, on the request of our very prominent client who were uh, migrating from on-prem database to Google Cloud, we have added support for Google BigQuery as well. We have a very important feature that comes now in the market is automatically bug logging system. When we talk about end-to-end automation, why not we log the bugs or let the QualiDI logs the bug automatically in case it finds any test case failing? So with a simple handshake mechanism, you can connect to your defect management tool, and as and when any test case fails, QualiDI can log these bugs. Auto versioning and change history management is another feature wherein any changes are marked with the timestamp and the person who changed it, and a history of the same is maintained. As already said, you can take two different versions and compare them as well. Without taking much time here, let us move to the actual tool. And before moving to actual tool, let me help you understand the use case that we are going to deliver today here. This is a simple ETL graph that is under test for this particular demo, wherein we have four source tables and one target. We have two different data stores for source, that is, one is MySQL, another one is MS SQL. We have certain joins, certain filter conditions, and a lookup to populate a target, which is another table and is stored in MS SQL. Let me go directly to the tool and help you understand how we are testing this. This is the dashboard that you can see on the screen. Here we have all the test cases, all the history of test cases present, and simple stats to find out what test cases, how many test cases have passed and failed. These are the different charts and different representations. All the artifacts related to a particular projects are managed in this particular navigation. Now to map your release, ETL release, QualiDI has a feature wherein you can create a new release to store your artifacts in it. Here let us fetch that release 1.4, which is something we are going to use for this demo. The first thing that we need as part of this tool is having requirements in it. Let us go ahead and create a mapping sheet. Me being a business analyst comes here, can manually add the mappings or import them using Excel sheet. Let me import one here for you. So I can simply select this and import. As I do that, all the mappings are visible here. I can verify them and simply confirm my changes. So I have the mapping with me now. The next thing that I need is the connection to the databases that are used for ETL execution already, and now I want to connect them to execute my test cases. We can simply connect these databases using simple parameters. I've already created for you. The next thing that we need QualiDI to know is the group of source connections and target connections that we are going to use in our test case execution. Since we have more than one source, we are going to specify here MySQL and MS SQL connection, and we have one target, so I'll be selecting MySQL here. Next, the real feature of QualiDI that again we have developed is a configuration file which helps you to isolate your test cases and to be reusable for different environments. So for example, if I want to execute a test suite in QA environment, I can simply provide the values of the variables here in this configuration file, and suggested values can be used. The last piece that we need is generating a test suite. Let us move ahead. Let me create a new test suite here. Me being a QA developer or even a BA for UAT can use these test suites. Here we have different test templates already available for us, out of which we can select them and use for our testing. Let me select one which I want to use for validating the data of the different columns. I'll select the mapping, and in the next screen, I'll be seeing all the mappings available. For the purpose of this demo, let us select few mappings for which we want to generate the test case. Out of these five, we are expecting at least one to fail. The source information is here. As you can see on the screen, all the source and target queries are there now. These are nothing but the test cases that will be executed. One feature I would like to show you how versioning here works. So for that, let me go to edit screen of the same. I'll rename this test case, and once I rename it, I should have a new version available in my version screen where I can select two different to compare it. I'll save it. All the versions are listed here. Now if I select two different versions and select them, so you can see the differences, the updates that I have made. So the difference is also very easily to understand. Without making any delay, let us go ahead and select the connection group and the configuration file, which will change the variables specified in your query to the actual values. And let us go ahead and hit execute test suite button. Once we do this, all the test resources needed, like connections and everything, will be validated and test cases will be executed. Like you can see here, one test case is failed and four are passed. Let us go ahead and see what really went with this particular test case. So here you can see that for employee number 83 and 84, the last name is not exactly as we expected. So now you know what really went wrong with this particular ETL graph, and you can go and fix this. So here all the test cases are also stored, and any time needed you can come and refer them. Let me go ahead and summarize everything that we have seen. In today's competitive technological landscape, the barriers to compete are minimal. So the best way to survive is to enable and move fast and defend one's stature by innovating. And this is possible with the help of all the features and benefits that QualiDI can provide in the world of ETL. We have already seen how QualiDI can be used in Agile and assist to achieve shift left testing and all its aspects. QualiDI also comes with many other features like single sign-on. We can integrate to your environment and your login mechanism. So, for example, you are using LDAP, you are using Kerberos, and things like that. We have seen that automated versioning can happen here. QualiDI also makes sure that the users, different users in the application have the appropriate rights and accesses. So, for example, as a BA, I really do not need to have access to the database connection. So, roles and accesses can be managed by user here, wherein a BA will not be given access to the database connection module. Automated test creation really enables and eliminates the dependency. Maintaining the artifact repository is another thing that we have seen. For now, that's all from my side. Back to you, Nathan.
Great. Thanks, Samarth. We hope that this session provided a good overview of QualiDI for automating your ETL testing. If you are interested in exploring options further, we invite you to visit our website at www.bitwiseglobal.com, where you can find additional resources, including our 30-day free trial. To explore a more fully supported POC option, you can contact us directly at sales@bitwiseglobal.com. And with that, I would like to thank you for your time and for joining us today. We look forward to talking with you soon. Thank you.